This video demonstrates main halyard cleat removal and installation. The process is generally applicable to other cleats installed on the mast. We will demonstrate the repair on the JY15 sailboat. It is relatively simple. The required time is around 10 to 30 minutes, depending on familiarity with the process. And the required skills are low, including operating a hand drill and using basic shop tools. The recommended PPE is safety goggles during drilling and gloves when applying Duralac. In this example, the main halyard cleat screw has become unseated and stripped under load. The cleat needs to be removed and reinstalled. First, gather the necessary tools. You will need one horn cleat, 2 rib nuts, 2 screws that fit the rib nuts, Duralac, a 1964 drill bit for the rib nut, a 3/16 drill bit for the pilot hole, a rib nut installation tool, open-end wrench, socket wrench, cordless drill, and Phillips head screwdriver. The open-end wrench is to hold the rib nut installation tool, and the socket wrench is to turn the rib nut installation tool. This is the complete list of materials. The horn cleat, rib nuts, screws, drill bits, installation tool, and open-end wrench are all found in the gray basket specifically for cleat repair, located in the dinghy locker next to the Fowley's rack. The socket wrench, drill, and Phillips head screwdriver are found in the board hospital towards the northeast corner of our club. You will not need a new horn cleat if you are reusing the existing cleat. If you are replacing with a new cleat, be sure to pick a metal cleat and not a plastic cleat. Also check for the correct size, which does differ for different boats. Now we are ready for repair. First, remove the main halyard cleat. Remove the screws using a Phillips head screwdriver or a cordless drill with a Phillips head bit. If these methods fail, you may need to drill it out with a 3/16 drill bit. Be sure the drill bit is no larger than 3/16, otherwise you will damage the cleat. Once the main halyard is removed, you can now install the rib nut. First, drill a pilot hole with a 3/16 drill bit. You can skip this step if you're reusing existing holes. Then, drill out a bigger hole at the same position with a 1964 bit. This is the size for our rib nuts. You are now ready to install the rib nuts. Before installation, it is good to review how rib nuts work. Rib nuts are installed using the rib nut installation tool. The assembly consists of the rib nut, a larger nut that holds and pushes against the rib nut, a screw that screws into the rib nut and will pull on it, a hex adapter, a socket wrench adapter, and a socket wrench that turns the tool. You will also need another wrench to hold the large nut in place. Rib nuts are fastened into a sheet of metal with friction. The rib nut installation tool pulls the rib nut and expands the nut against the sheet metal, creating friction that holds the rib nut in place. It is critical not to strip the threads inside the rib nut as they are very delicate. It may be difficult to tell when to stop turning the tool, and if unsure, try it on a scrap piece of metal that is similar in thickness. For JY masts, 2 full turns or 720 degrees is all you need to install the rib nut. A number of turns will differ for different rib nuts and different metal thickness. You will know if you've stripped the threads if your force applied to turning the tool suddenly drops. The most secure installation is to stop turning just before the maximum resistance and no further. Now we install the rib nut onto the mast. Repeat the same steps as shown previously. Place the rib nut into the hole. Attach the rib nut installation tool and turn the tool while holding the big nut in place. Stop turning at the maximum resistance and no further. Again, if you strip the rib nut during installation, it will not hold the cleat securely. Drill it out with a 1964 bit and start again. Repeat for the second hole. If you are not reusing existing holes and you need to locate the position of the second hole, you can temporarily install the cleat and then mark the position of the second hole, either using a pen or using a small drill bit before drilling the hole. Once you've installed both rib nuts, you're ready to finally fasten the cleat onto the mast. Dip the screw in Duralac, which will prevent corrosion between dissimilar metals, and install the screws through the cleat and into the rib nuts. Again, check for stripped threads or overly loose connection. Finally, rig the main halyard with a stopper knot. Clean up, return your tools, log on a dinghy log, and you're good to go. Thank you for taking care of our club boats.